Just a short while ago, we saw President Donald Trump impose reciprocal tariffs. I just want to highlight some of the comments that he made during his presser. He was talking to reporters about how India is a very hard country to do business in. It has the highest tariffs. And he also spoke about that, like I mentioned, it's a hard country to do business in, and he will speak to Prime Minister Modi soon. That being said, how do you think these sort of discussions will come up during the meet?
Well, tariff is a process of negotiation on part of President Trump. We've seen that in the case of Mexico, seen in the case of Canada. So I strongly believe that that is the way to basically position itself, his discussion with Prime Minister Modi. But more important, you have to understand that the relationship between the two countries, not just purely trade, is geopolitical, is definitely economic, it's on technology, it's on people to people. So trade will come in, and I think the reciprocity is not just against India, it's around the world itself. And they will study this until April and come back with some recommendation. I believe India will react to it and make sure that the speed bumps are removed so the relationship moves forward.
Right, absolutely. It's interesting that you mentioned that, because earlier we were speaking to Mr. Raymond Vickery, who also mentioned that this could be a negotiation tactic and that it is very much in line with how Trump moves to announce something radical just ahead of the meeting. However, he did also mention that the India-US relationship is strong enough for it to not be derailed because of this. That being said, we have heard comments in the past as well where Trump has often called India the tariff king and a big abuser of trade ties. Do you expect that this will put some sort of a strain in relations? And also I wanted to ask you, we've seen the bonhomie between the two leaders. How do you think the relationship could or might change in Trump 2.0?
Well, I don't think the relationship will change. And the tariff issue putting a dent, I think the relationship will continue to move forward. You have to understand that U.S. companies are very keen to access Indian market. U.S. companies are saying, give us level playing field and market access. And I think India, there's enough maturity on both sides to be able to sort out some of these speed bumps so the relationship moves forward. The Modi administration on its own basically reduce certain amount of tariffs, and then with the reciprocity coming in, they will study also just like the U.S. and see where they can basically engage. You have to understand, the U.S. also has high tariffs on agriculture, over 100% itself. So I think you just can't point fingers just at India and other countries. We also have certain amount of tariffs specifically protecting the farmers here, just we protect the farmers in India also. So I think it is important that we basically not react to the executive orders. Let's study it, see where it impacts, and find a solution to it.
Right. Mr. Aghi, also if I could just ask you, of course, there are other issues as well. Illegal immigration, a second batch of Indian illegal immigrants being sent back to India. There's the H-1B visa. Of course, there's the issue of China, which both the United States and India might see as a common adversary. How do you, what sort of discussions are you expecting on these fronts?
Well, you have to understand that, yes, you have illegal immigration. We have roughly around 16 million illegal people in the United States, and they constitute roughly 6% of the workforce. The farmers in the field, construction workers, restaurant workers, and approximately 700,000 have gone through the legal process. And with those 700,000, roughly 18,000 are Indians who basically will need to be deported back. And that's normal because, you don't want illegal immigration impacting legal immigration, where H-1B has a legal process where 70% of the H-1B holders every year come from India itself. So I think it is important, and India has done that very carefully and agreed with the U.S. that they will take back illegal Indians in the U.S. as long as they are verified they are Indians itself. Yes, in the discussion, there'll be talk on H-1B, but more important is the big elephant in the room is China. You have to understand, that China's ambitions are to be the leading power. It sees India as a threat in the Asia-Pacific region, and it never treats and sees India as an equal. Whereas its stress point with China, with US, is getting bigger and deeper. And so I think that's where India and the US will have a discussion, specifically on the Quad side. You have to understand Trump raised the Quad from a ministerial level to state head level itself. So you will see Trump leveraging Quad to deal with China. And also, I think what we are seeing is that Quad could become an economic zone also, because when you look at the 4 Quad countries, their total GDP is $35 trillion. US has an FTA with Australia. It has FTA with Japan. India has some form of trade agreement with Japan and Australia. So if you combine the 4, then you can basically leverage a military cooperation into economic zone 2.
All right. Well, Mr. Agi, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast with your insights on this.
Thank you.
For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.